Greetings, beings. Jacob Martinez, Crystal Haiku Guy from artoflove.me. I'm back with your August readings. These will go for the first half of August. I wanted to wish all of my Leo viewers a very happy birthday. It is your season. Rawr! Hope you're making the most of these auspicious energies. And, please note that this is an M for mature audiences only channel. Okay, so legal, adults, wherever you're watching this, only. I use strong language. It's how I talk. And I don't really buffer what I'm hearing. If I take my time, that's just how I read. There are 5-minute readers, 10-minute readers here. I'm not that guy. I'm actually the 4-video guy. I do 4 videos that end up being long. Why? Because as long as the tech works, I record everything I'm doing. And part of the reason why is because of how my guides and your guides speak to me. They talk to me in tribal elements. So I break them down by tribal elements. That's what I call them. We're going to start with fire tribes because it's Leo season. So after that, we'll do air, earth, and then water. Because I rotate them to make sure they're fair based on what I did last time. And last time we were doing water because it was still Cancer season. So that's how I do them. If you don't like watching the prayer, the energy calibration, and the messages that seem to pop up while I'm shuffling and stuff, feel free to jump ahead. You can do that with your sun, your moon, and your rising in any of those 4 videos by just simply going under the video where the description box is, click show more, and then you'll see some hyperlinks. Those just jump you to the right chapter. So just jump to whatever sign you want. And I do recommend seeing sun, moon, and rising. I think that usually helps put together a bigger context, because I can't get this right for everybody. Don't be offended. These are general readings. If you don't like some of the polarizing messages that sometimes come up, try to keep in mind that this is a free service to others. And many of the people that might be watching this might be calling out and reaching out at a really rough time in their life. And sometimes that message is for them. And if you hear it and it grabs onto you a little bit, just hear it, because maybe in the next couple weeks, it might bring a context to something happening in your own life. And there's also a very good chance that it has nothing to do with you too. So just keep that in mind. Watch your sun, moon, and your rising, and try not to take anything in a negative way. A lot of times I do get a polarizing message, and that's simply because the guides are trying to help the people that want to know that kind of stuff understand things that might be happening in their life so that they can sort of navigate those situations a little bit more advantageously. So I might not be your guy if you don't like that. There are a lot of people that will only read the sunny side up of things, and I can't. It's just not who I am. So just know that, and I'm praying for you if you're that stressed out, okay? The other thing, I'm going to probably misgender for a lot of people, so please apply whatever gender makes most sense to you. That can be really elusive and tricky, and I'm not foisting any of that on anybody. I do my best to try to hear and experience however the gender reads itself to me, but that's kind of hit or miss, and I think mostly a miss. So please use what makes sense to you, and if it doesn't make sense the way I said it, use whichever one makes sense for you, please. I'm going to do 5 cards. We're going to start with Carolyn Mrs. Archetype cards. Those are going to give us like a context for the month, so you can have like an overview of how the energy might wobble. So we go over a light and a shadow. We're going to use the Rider-Waite Smith deck for the physical material realm. We'll use the Psychic Tarot deck by John Holland for the mental sector, and for the personal and sometimes romantic sector, we will be using Doreen Virtue's Romance Angels. And I like to wrap them all up with a little advice and a prayer led by Archangel Michael, and I'll just kind of wave my hands and sprinkle some light in your direction at the end of these. So that's how I do them. I hope you like them. If you do, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Share, subscribe. You can leave me a comment. I'm not really doing personals right now. Maybe into August I will. It's the end of July while I'm doing this right now. And my schedule's been really full. I've got multiple projects going on, plus my clients that are here in my area. And so I haven't really been able to take on anything new. I do have a little bit of a waiting list that I've been accumulating from some of you amazing people here that have shown some interest in reading with me, and I will definitely be notifying when I can bring those on. I just I've had a lot to deal with here, and I've actually been referring some of those readings out, so if you don't have another reader you can access right now and just had a question about who I work with or whatever, feel free to hit me up for that. Feel free to hit me up for a prayer too. I always make time for this stuff. Girls, boys, and others. I just I stop for stuff like that. And when I can offer the personals again, I will certainly let you know. If you want to get on my list, feel free to just subscribe here or on my blog, artoflove.me, and that's where I send the notifications. So thank you for that. God bless you for being here, especially at this crazy time where we're all starting to see what's been going on collectively, because now they're letting us know. I think that's why it looks so polarizing out there. Keep in mind, this stuff's been going on for a really long time. We're just being made aware of it now. Even those of us who have thrown out our fucking TVs. And it can be tough to cope with that. So do whatever you need to be doing to take care of yourself at this time. Because the world really needs more healthy, balanced, loving, compassionate people that are not so reactive, constantly pointing fingers at others, and just trying to instigate fights. So some of us aren't doing that, and I think the more of us that employ those tactics, the quicker things can actually start to change. So I honor the part of you in your life that had you looking for anything like this to help you understand things from a different perspective so that you could get through whatever it is that you're dealing with in your life. God bless you for that. I love you for it, and I'll see you on the inside of your video. Fire signs, how you doing? Happy August. Just gonna get started doing some shuffling here and lay some cards down. We're gonna start with Leo's because it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Leo. It's gonna go Leo, Sag, Aries, and I'll pick up if I have something to say. I'm just gonna shuffle. If you don't like this part, jump to your own video by going under this video, click show more, and then whichever link corresponds to your sign. Oh, I forgot to mention, I shuffle, I lay them all down, backs up, and sometimes I get messages or something while I'm doing all this, and I'll come back and talk, but all the cards stay with the backs up until I get to the sign, and then I flip them over. Okay, so a few things happened. A couple things. A few things. I was hearing a tune, and it wasn't really clear until these cards flew out, and I heard a word. Liberator? Liberation? Maybe it was Liberace. I don't know. No, it was definitely liberator. Liberation. And, I was hearing this song, how's that go? There's a part, blame us 'cause we are who we are. Hate us 'cause you'll never get that far. And who supposed that you were going? I've already learned enough to know that. And then the guy goes, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I was hearing that part, and it was like I wasn't hearing the lyrics until these cards came out. I was shuffling the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, and they just like came out exactly like this. Boom, like here on my spirit board. The one on the bottom is Sacral Chakra. This one of the chakra cards represents the sexual creative energy. Covered by the Psychic Attack card, Deception and Envy, also known as the Seven of Swords if you're in like a more traditional tarot style deck, like a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And then what was on top of all of it was a trump card, Five Wisdom, which is ordinarily the Hierophant card in that other system that I just mentioned. So then I started hearing those words, blame us 'cause we are who we are. Hate us 'cause you'll never get that far. It's a song by Better Than Ezra, and I believe it's called At the Stars. And I think it might resonate for somebody, but basically what I was hearing is that there is a really deep deception regarding somebody's like primal drives, and they've learned a lot about it. It's just kind of lit up their world in a different way. Like, notice there's a lot of like sexual energy, a facade, some lies, energy just being sucked, and like an epiphany. So not sure who that's for, but those really wanted to show up. And if that's for you, now's a really good time to do things to take care of your needs. And they're showing me that liberator word again. Feels like a lot of sexual frustration, to be honest, for somebody. And if that's the case, you might really want to be asking yourself some challenging questions and looking into some self-inquiry as to why you're being triggered in those ways, and paying attention to the effects that sort of like ripple is having on circumstances in your life. Because That's not a great energy. This can be really fun and awesome, especially with this overhead. But this in between it all is kind of fucking sucky. It's saying that you're like losing or being leached of like all that sunshine, all that light, all that creative satisfaction and enjoyment. Some of the best parts of life. The shit that lights up the sky. It's just being sucked out of this one. And they know it. Good if you're having an awakening. Liberate yourself, fire signs. Take care of your needs. Go balance that. Get your chakras balanced. Ask the difficult questions of yourself and be willing to observe what the actual answer is. You know, and if you find yourself getting really defensive through that, that's probably a really strong sign for you that there's something that's like not being dealt with, and that might be the root of a lot of problems. So just pay mind to that. The time is always good to be taking care of yourself. Always. I don't like to play the always and never game too much because it's kind of stupid in my opinion. Nothing's usually that black and white, you know, but it seems like there is always a good time to be constructive with yourself with regard to how you're anticipating your life and the things that you're doing. So, you know, stop, drop, and roll if you're feeling like your head's on fire from what's going on in your world in some kind of way and you just want to like react, because that can be really like sacral chakra, lower chakra oriented stuff. And if you're real like snappish, there might be a reason behind that irritation. And if you're just reflexing around everybody else, it's probably having some negative consequences, you know. And if you don't see them now, you might later. And I say negative with the finger quotes because all that negative stuff is really just there to remind you that there's more to look at. I'm gonna finish. I was hearing something. It's in reference to that orange sacral chakra card and the Liberator. And I was just seeing like somebody talking, and it was just like the word truth, like literally Truth, truth was coming out of their mouth, and it was orange. So, I mean, for me, it's just like how I'm hearing that is that whatever that thing is that now you've learned, you know, whatever your difficult truth is, perhaps, that like that wisdom card, what's illuminating the sky, and that Hierophant card that flew out, the thing that was leaking you before. It's like somebody, maybe you, is just finding a way to speak that truth about your need, whatever that need was, whatever is represented by that like orange sacral. And I'll go even a little redder in that, because they're showing me like this, like it's like also going into root chakra stuff. Like somebody's just really getting in touch with how to say they're sorry. Because I'm seeing truth in orange, and then I'm seeing like sorry in blue, like come after that. So good for you. That takes some work to do. And if you are the person either saying it or hearing it, what I'm being advised to mention to you is to pay attention to how that's coming out or through, because sometimes people will use sorry as a barter. And it's like because of that need, like I'm saying sorry because I need something from you now. So watch that, and watch that if you are apologizing to somebody for maybe something that you did that was on that base level, that you're not saying it with the expectation to extract something and fill your, you know, you're trying to putty up those holes in yourself with that. A genuine sorry, a healing sorry, is actually, you know, a real liberator and liberation, and the fact that it was authentic and that it went out with authenticity. It wasn't to try to, like, you know, putty up some existential crisis that you haven't dealt with by having an expectation of others. And so watch how other people apologize to you too, because maybe somebody did you wrong, whatever. I say that in, you know, funny little quotes, because, you know, whatever is all of this other than learning, we're helping remind each other of things that we need to know. But you know, maybe somebody's like coming back and trying to like flirt their way back into your world, is what I'm hearing. And it's like, you know what it's all about already, and it's okay for you to be in line with your own truth and taking what you need from that as an acknowledgement, and then, you know, walking away. And so sometimes if this is an X situation, as I'm hearing it is for some of you, have like, you know, an ex coming back, oh, I'm so sorry, I was like in this negative place, and trying to like flirt back into your world when they were, you know, like that deception and envy card, sucking life out of you in some way before. You don't really have to listen to the apology. Keep that in mind. You know, I mean, some of you have worked really, really extensively healing your wounds, you know, from what you learned in that situation when the person maybe was very negative with you. And I'm not saying people can't change. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, you know, release people of your negative feelings towards them, that you might have had old resentments and grievances. But what I am saying is that you don't actually have to engage them. You don't have to listen to anything they say, especially if it's coming with that like hand, wanting to grab from that energy where they know they can draw on you. That's what wisdom is. Know the difference, fire signs. Witness that within yourself. And be in control of your energy, because that can be volatile if that's coming through you. Watch how you're grabbing on people, especially if you realize that you might be baiting with your sorries. Because I think you're bigger than that. And I think that you're also mature enough to notice when other people are doing that to you, because that's highly inappropriate. And even if that's the level of their own understanding and they're not necessarily trying to be shady and manipulative and deceptive like the Seven of Swords typically implies, that doesn't mean that you have to put yourself around that. And that's what wisdom is. It's knowing the difference and also being in a position where you've balanced those urges enough within yourself that you don't even really have to say no. You just don't even have to pay attention. And that, my friends, is liberation. Keep it in mind. Okay, I've got the cards here in front of me on the spirit board. I'm going to just kind of try to sit back here a little bit so I can be comfortable while I'm doing these. And as I mentioned, we are going to go Leo, then Sag, and then Aries. Alright? Alright, starting with you, Leos. Happy birthday once again. Just gonna flip your cards now. Well, feeling this one pretty intensely, I will admit. Grab the books here real quick. We're gonna need them. Alright, Leo. A lot of energy here. It's your solar return, so I'm not surprised at all. We're going to go ahead and jump into your archetype. Overall energy for the month using Caroline Miss's archetype cards, Trickster. This is usually like a context for how things might sway. I say in and within you because it's maybe how you're acting, it's maybe how other people are acting, and it's also just like the potential volatility of all the energy around. That's how I usually experience these, and that's why they're called archetypes. Trickster card states light attribute, transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. Shadow attribute, manipulating others through duplicity. See what the book says. Gonna read it to you. Alright, Leo, Trickster. Buzzwords, POC, Provocateur. And then you have 4 bullet points here and a tip. First one says, plays dubious jokes or tricks, makes fun or is made fun of. The second one states, can be either a deceiver who tricks others out of something they're entitled to, or a helper or messenger from the divine. The third one says, can be a great ally in presenting alternatives to the straight and narrow path to people and institutions who seek to hem you in through peer pressure and conformism. And the last one says, shadow trickster takes pleasure in misleading and upsetting others. And the tip is, look for a lifetime pattern of either creating havoc or of liberating by transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. This sounds a lot like the energy that I just read. If you are a person that didn't watch the shuffle, you might want to go back and watch it, because the message was possibly indicative of this situation. So I'm not going to tie it up here, but if you missed it, you might want to watch that. What's showing up in your physical material realm, Leos, using the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, is the Four of Wands. This one actually came up in reverse. And since this is what's in the physical realm, this is kind of like, when it's showing up like this is really awesome card to me. Usually means things are pretty happy, and, you know, if this is dealing with relationships of any kind, whether it's romantic or not, I mean, these people are looking pretty happy, right? They're like victorious, whoever they are. You know, you got their hands up in the air. They're like, booyah, yeah, it's good. We're happy. Our home kicks ass. We've got creative energy and spirit, and maybe we're just getting into a relationship, or possibly talking about marriage or something, and this way, wah, 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 wah. Not so much. So, Wands energy is, you know, that's fire. That could be you. That could be somebody in your world that's got, you know, strong fire tribe energy in them, whether it's sun, moon, or rising, or they just act that way. And, you know, maybe somebody's just feeling a little impeded somehow. I'm hearing impeded. Like, you know, like they got this really great plan here, but something hasn't clicked, you know, or it hasn't come together yet. I don't necessarily think it's like awful or anything, but it feels like, you know, plans have been delayed in some kind of way. Whatever this is that this stands for, you know, it could just be taking some time. I was hearing something about like a home renovation, or, you know, the house, something about the house, just not being done yet. And so that might be relevant for one or more people. But if it's you, it could also just be that something that you've been planning didn't really quite work out the way you wanted it to, and this is, you know, a situation that you're trying to adjust. And I'm just going to bring up that trickster energy again too. It's also possible that, you know, somebody's feeling like their plans got thwarted in some sort of way by a possible trickster in their world. But I'm also hearing that, you know, if this is you, you know, if you're like this magician here, which the trickster kind of reminds me of the magician card in like the traditional decks, this is somebody that like has a lot of really good mastery on the elements that matter in their world. So they're the kind of person that is well-rounded enough in the stuff that can really pull a situation together. So, you know, if this is you, like, just questioning your own personal power and like what you're capable of doing and whether or not you can do it, and that's just how you're showing up in your own life, just keep in mind that you can. Trickster doesn't have to be like a negative thing. I know some people don't like that word. This card came up again recently, and, you know, some people didn't like the word, let's just say, but remember, it does say transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. So this could be, you know, turning your own world up on side of its head. If you're somebody that's maybe always like straight-laced and doing things a certain kind of way and making everybody happy, maybe this is actually very empowering. Maybe this is the month where you're like, fuck this shit, you know, and like turning over tables and, you know, this is how I'm gonna do it now. And I think that might be the case for some of y'all, because on your mind, heart chakra, pow, showing up, Leo, heart chakra. It's so funny because, like, I'm all over that. Got that green heart chakra stuff going on right now. Guides were like, Jacob, green bandana, it's heart chakra, it's time for truth, is what I was hearing before I started all of these today. And this color just showed up really strong, heart chakra. This is what's on your mind. And when you got a heart chakra, you know, card showing up, oh, any of the chakras showing up on your mind, there's just a really strong emphasis that you are aware of what the situation's root is, because chakra cards speak to like the cores of issues or situations, right? And the heart chakra, wow, you know, that's just the center of your being, you know. I mean, some people will probably agree with me that, and of course, maybe I'm over-romanticizing for some of you, so for any of you people that, you know, are like, oh, I'm just a realist, you know, love isn't everything. Okay. I'm not trying to tell you what to believe. There are people like me, that feel that love is really the reason for everything. Everything. I think some of y'all are like getting in touch with that right now. And if you are, good for you. More of that in the world can be a very good thing. So take the time to get in touch with everything that symbolizes healing heart chakra. That's going to help free you. Fire signs are getting the word liberation and liberator when I was meditating before, and the key is going to be heart-centered living. So if you're getting in touch with that truth, way to go. Let's see what the book says on that. I kind of treat these like trumps too, Leo, because at least in this deck here, this is a Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. There are only 7 chakra cards in this deck, and I think there's almost like 60 cards in here. So those are like trumps in this deck. There are less of those than there are actually, you know, majors in this deck. And so, you know, one showing up on your head, really significant to me that there is like an awareness of a need for some kind of heart healing. Let's see what the book says. 4. Heart chakra. Key facts. Color green. Sound yam. Element air. Gland thymus. Keywords I love. Parallel to the heart, this chakra represents unconditional love, compassion, harmony, relationships, and healing. It's believed to be the link between your mind, body, and soul. Balancing this area may take a while, but you should allow all the time that you need so the healing energy can get through and flow freely. By loving yourself and others, as well as learning forgiveness, you'll become more attuned with spirit. I heard a time for truth again. And if that's the case, just be honest with yourself. When I was seeing things shuffling for the fire tribes, there were like words coming up in different colors, and I didn't see anything coming up in green, but I was seeing somebody talking, and I was seeing blue, And blue and green kind of represent this sort of like thymus, thyroid region. It's like upper heart to like, you know, 5th chakra, so 4th, 5th chakra in here. And it takes healing that area to be able to say something. So don't feel rushed, especially if all that orange energy that was coming up is like what's happening with you. You got a lot of sun on you right now. You know, the sun's in your sign. It's your birthday. Don't feel like you got to put the cart before the horse and like blurting things out to yourself or others. You know, give yourself the time you need to heal your heart. Because really, that's what matters. You've got to be healed. And so if that's on your mind, take the time to do that. Especially if you're feeling separated from something that really means a lot to you right now, Leo. Something or someone. Separation card showed up in your personal / romantic sector. Not my favorite card to get, you know. Even if it doesn't have a romantic implication. It says time apart from your partner is on the horizon, and you know, that could be for somebody. You know, maybe you're missing someone, whether it was your partner or I don't know, just someone in your life that meant a lot to you or means a lot to you. And if that's the case, you know, maybe that's why heart chakra healing's on the mind, and maybe why this kind of looks like could have been a breakup, separation. You know, maybe something that you didn't realize you wanted, and like now it's like, oh, it's gone, and you feel like you got tricked. Maybe you tricked somebody else. Maybe you were trying to elicit a response. I was seeing people making false apologies. Maybe this happened to you. Maybe there was like a false apology that was like there was some kind of weird attachment to it, and now it hurts, you know. But I'm going to read to you what the separation card says. Romance Angels Oracle cards. Okay, here you go, Leo. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. The romance angels are helping you during this period of separation from your partner. This card comes to you as an indication of angelic support as you spend time away from each other. While you're apart, the angels can help you fill your hours with healthy activities, which will help your present or future relationships. This card may indicate a temporary period of aloneness, such as while your partner is traveling away for business, or a time in your life when you're single and preparing for your next relationship. It can also mean a marital separation or divorce. Call upon the angels for support and guidance during these transitions. They can help you discover the deep healing to be mined as you spend time alone, which prepares you for the next part of your relationship journey. So I'm hearing for some of you that it was actually like a really good thing, though. That it was actually healing to get out of there. And that's part of why this heart chakra thing's showing up. And it's like, you're just realizing, wow, I really dodged a bullet here. I almost went down this path, and it's like this awareness, like you're just having an epiphany. Some of you really coming to the truth that your heart deserved better, and that it was really healing. Like I'm noticing, like there's a green window covering there, and it's like the light's just starting to shine in, you know, and it's like there's a lot of like green healing energy exposing light within here. So there's a lot of opportunities here. And I think that even if this was sad, something didn't work out, there's still all that yellow around it. Somehow they're saying, you know, love yourself through it, because you're going to re-experience the light that you are here. And some of this is about reclaiming that, especially if you had some kind of manipulative douchebag in your life that was like leading you on, you know, or like duplicitous in some kind of way, you know. Somebody cheated on you, I'm sorry. Or like, I'm hearing like manipulated the situation, made it look like it was something that it wasn't, because they were trying to get something or somewhere with someone. And if that's for you, then this message is definitely for you, because Archangel Michael is saying detach from the situation. So maybe it felt really good to get out of there. You know, maybe it wasn't something that was like really making you feel the love, and then it's on your mind and you're like, wow, you know, why am I doing this? I don't need to do this. I'm the magician. I can transcend limitations and bullshit. And it's my solar return. I got the sun in my house. I've got everything I need, and I can have the picture that I want. Maybe this isn't the one that I wanted. So I'm going to read you what the card says here, and we're going to seal this one up with a prayer for you, Leo, from Archangel Michael. Dear Archangel Michael, I ask you to use your flaming sword to cut any attachment to fear or drama, so that I may be centered in the knowingness that peace is everywhere within me and the situation. I was knocking things everywhere. So I just feel like there's a lot of energy here. And make sure you're taking time to balance and heal your heart, Leo. If you need it. We all need it. Even if you think you don't need it, we need it. Okay? And we're worth it. You are definitely worth it. Heal your heart. Focus on green. And I'm going to just say this prayer one more time and like just hold my hand here. Archangel Michael, I ask you to use your flaming sword to cut any attachment to fear or drama, so that I may be centered in the knowingness that peace is everywhere within me in this situation. Amen. Okay. I hope that made sense for you guys, Leos. And if it did, you know, give me a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, and you know, if I can pray for anybody, especially if there's some, you know, owies going on with this, just know I already am. And I'm keeping you in my prayers, and I'm going to be focusing a lot on green this month, and I think you should too, okay? Take care of yourself and love your heart. Alright, we're going to go ahead and move on now to Sagittarius next. I'm just going to clear off some of the cards here in the energy, light a little more sage, and then we'll do Sag. Wow, somebody's got like some shoulder issues. I just felt that really strongly, and then my guides popped me. It felt really good. Yeah, I get a massage if you need it, you know, take some time to decompress. Whoever that's for. There's a lot of stress here, and it was on the left side, and then it released out here, and they said take your time making the decision. So I don't know who that's for, but that's what I heard, and I'm guessing that might be part of where the tension is coming from, is whatever that decision symbolizes. So I was feeling it really strong on the left side, so if somebody's watching this and been having a lot of stress on that side back here, yeah, they're saying you really need to take your time with that. And to do what you need to do to take care of your body right now, because it's showing up like that, is telling you that you need to deal with this. Okay, if you start to experience it in your body, that's a good feedback to pay attention to. And just look into it, okay? Alright, we're going to go ahead and move on now. We've got the Sage, and we're ready for Sag. So, what's up, Sag? How you doing? Let me get started on your reading here. All right. That's a lot of Sage. Here we go, Sag. Your overall archetypal energy for the month of August, or the first couple weeks at least, is the Shapeshifter, using Caroline Miss's archetype cards. Light attribute state: skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. In the shadow attribute state: projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. I'm hearing a song. What's that one? It's want you to make me feel like I'm the only girl in the world, like I'm the only one that you'll ever want, like I'm the only one that knows your heart, only girl in the world. And I'm just hearing like that boom, 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 the bass. And whoever that's for, they're saying be careful with that energy and how you're allowing it to influence your life. You know, it's possible that that's how somebody's coming towards you right now, and like manipulating things just because of their need to feel like your jealousy. You know, like you really want them that much. Like they're trying to bait that expression from you. And likewise, be wise about how you're putting yourself out there if you're feeling really triggered and willing to, you know, do anything to just, you know, bring somebody into your world. And, you know, I think that's part of what the Shapeshifter energy is warning us about here. And I'm just going to read to you what the book says here on Shapeshifter. Alright. Buzzword: spellcaster. 2 bullet points. First one says, has the ability to change appearances and navigate through different levels of waking consciousness, dream states, in the astral plane. And the second one says, shadow shapeshifter exhibits instability, fickleness, and lack of conviction, like politicians who reinvent themselves to appeal to the latest popular trends. Look for a pattern, a lifetime pattern of flexibility, changeability, or deceptiveness, especially tied to your work or family life. Yeah, they're just saying baiting, like, you know, trying to manipulate responses from people by being hot and cold and just like playing that to whatever your advantage is out of, you know, projections. And that doesn't have to be you doing it per se. That could be how other people are sort of being triggered, let's say, around you, where they're just changing from moment to moment. And it's maybe to see how invested you are in them. And they're saying that's just really artificial, and you know better. So keep it in mind. And we're going to go ahead and move on to what's showing up in the physical material realm using the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck. Six of Cups. Nostalgia. Blast from the past. Perhaps an old love. An old flame. Maybe somebody that just made you feel good, you know, somebody that showed up like that when you needed them, and maybe you didn't even realize you needed them. Maybe they just showed up and they were a gift to you. And maybe that person's back, or they're just kind of like in the periphery somewhere. And maybe that's the one that made you feel like the only girl in the world. Or somebody that you do that for. You know, there might be some level of idealization with this card. I should just mention that. Anytime the cups show up, this is going to be something of an emotional nature. You know, cups can also symbolize people in your world that might act the way cup energy acts. And they might have a strong influence of water tribes. So, you know, like in their sun, moon, or rising, you might find that that person might be, you know, swayed by their Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio influence. So you might have somebody that's got Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio showing up in your world. And they might be pretty sweet, you know. If that's how it feels, that's a really good energy. Some people consider that a card that's indicative of like a soul tie, kindred soul or spirit type of connection. Other people will say that this is perhaps like a past life love, or someone that you met in a dimensional world other than this. And if that's the case, that's looking really very spectacular and loving. So the potential here is for a really nice experience. And boom, we got sacral chakra showing up on the brain again. This actually flew out while I was shuffling fire tribes. And Leo also had a chakra card showing up on their mind. A lot of times the tribes will have similar energies that are going on, and that's why I sort of read them this way, because I look at nuances and I analyze this stuff for later and for my other work. And there are only 7 chakra cards that show up in my Psychic Tarot Oracle deck by John Holland, and so for me they're kind of like the trumps of that deck. Even though the trumps are in there too, just redesigned and repackaged. There's only 7 chakra cards, and there's 22 trumps. So if a chakra card shows up, it's a pretty big deal for me. And the sacral chakra card is going to represent your 2nd chakra, which is, you know, passionate, sexual, creative energy. It's on your mind. They're saying there's some healing to do there, Sag. And that, you know, some of you are wanting to consummate a relationship, actually. And it's taking a lot to just open this energy up here. But I'm just going to jump ahead here, too, and say romance angels are saying keep an open mind if that's for you. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectation. So if that's the case, especially if you're feeling triggered, sometimes this is my trigger card a lot of times. It's like, oh my God, why am I feeling these feelings for this person? Oh my God. You know, sometimes when that comes up on the mind, it's like, it's a no shit. You know, why am I feeling that? Well, relax a minute. Just because you feel it doesn't mean you have to act on it. You can ask questions of yourself and figure out where it's coming from. Let's just see what the clue is on that card, and then we'll get to that other one. So, sacral chakra card straight out of the book. Key facts. Color, orange. Sound, vom. Element, water. Glands, testicles, ovaries. Keywords, I want. Known as the sacral chakra, the second chakra is located 2 fingers below your navel and relates to emotions, desires, creativity, and sexuality. To keep this chakra balanced and its energy flowing, try dancing, moving your hips and lower abdomen. Use color meditation and practice yoga. Express your sexuality and nurture yourself, and remember, you do matter. Okay, so I definitely recommend the yoga for sure. Dancing, absolutely. Color meditation, there's your color. And watch how you're allowing that energy to flow through you right now. They're saying this has to do with the words that you're speaking to, and that some of you are just really blocked because it doesn't mean what it meant before. I know that's going to make sense to some of you, but it's really allowing yourself to speak about your needs too, especially if you have another chance to like review a situation in a positive way with someone that meant something good to you, that maybe you got some fucking triggers around the area that was breaching, and you haven't learned how to talk about that constructively yet. And so noticing that same sacral color, sacral chakra color right here, right over this person's mouth. He, she, they, whoever they are. I think it's you. But it might not be. It might just be somebody else trying to, communicate with you, and maybe they just want to feel like the only person in your world, and they don't know how to ask for that or how to say it, and so they're just being, that way. Projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. So it's like, reflex action. Maybe somebody just being kind of like, even shitty, just because they show you who they are when they don't get what they want. Maybe they haven't gotten in touch with what they want yet, so they're just kicking and screaming and acting up. Or not saying anything at all and just being freaking frustrated. Because this on your mind can be very frustrated. This can be sexual frustration. This can be creative frustration. Because these don't work in reverses here, so we're just talking about how that energy can manifest. And there's a lot of energy here. There is, Sag. And they say you gotta love yourself, and whatever that shoulder pain is here has a lot to do with your own ability to digest life in a way that's loving to yourself and others. Definitely keep an open mind, especially about yourself. If this is like just an awareness of, oh my God, I didn't realize I had all these needs, then this does not have to be about somebody else coming into your life, darling. Maybe you're not in that place. This could very well be somebody coming in, but sometimes, some people, this is just a personal experience. Okay. Where it's really about keeping an open mind about whatever's coming to your mind. So these don't always fit into neat little boxes. These are general readings. Take what applies. Okay. This could be, though, very well something else. Especially if we put these together. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations, even if it's not romantic. Soulmates can come in different packages. We all can. It could be a pet, it could be a friend, it business partner, family member, you know. But could also be somebody that's stirring up your sacral chakra right now. And if that's the case, watch how you're allowing that energy to influence your world, Sag, because, you know, this could be a time to skillfully navigate through different levels of your own consciousness with the ability to see the potential in everything and to mobilize that energy in a way that's constructive, where it's in line with you speaking truth. And it could also cause a situation where people are projecting. And that could be you too. So pay attention. Let's see what the book says. Alright, Sagittarius, keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. The romance angel sent you this card as a reminder to stay open to the possibility of your soulmate appearing in a form that may differ from what you expect. This is especially true if you tend to date a certain type of individual. You drew this card to help you discover your true soulmate. This card may signal that you've already been introduced to this person but have overlooked his or her romantic potential. Take the time to get to know the various individuals you meet, even if there isn't an initial attraction. At the very least, you will learn more about yourself and may make a new friend. Good advice. And Archangel Michael says that you're guarded and protected. Good to know, too. Because I was also just hearing, and I have to say it. So, you know, it's not for everybody, but I'm hearing that somebody has someone that's really come after them in sort of an aggressive way. It felt a little stalky, to be honest. And they're saying that, you know, you haven't jumped to conclusions, and that's probably a good thing. You know, this person just might not really know how to enter into safe dialogue, is what they're telling me. And it's just good to know that you're guarded and protected, and that your kindness is actually being observed, and it has been observed, for whoever needs to know that. Even if somebody hasn't learned how to say thank you, you know, and maybe has just like reached for what you gave and you never heard it. I'm going to go ahead and read what this card says here, and we're going to seal this one up with a prayer for you, Sag. Dear Archangel Michael, thank you for protecting my loved ones and me, ensuring that we're safe, and that all of our needs are met. I now accept your help gratefully and gracefully, knowing that it is right for me and all others to accept heavenly assistance. Amen. Alright, Sag, that's what I got. Hope you liked it. If you did, thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. And if you need a prayer, hit me up. My email address is below. And if I don't hear from you, I'll see you next couple of weeks or so when I'm back for the mid-monthly readings. I'm just going to clear up this area, and then we're going to finish this up with Aries. Hey Aries, what's going on? How you doing? Can you believe it's August? I can't believe it personally, but it's here. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into your readings. I'm just flipping your cards over right now. All right. Okay, Aries. Take a deep breath. I want you to be aware of what the soles of your feet feel like right now. Just take a minute and do that with me. And now we're going to breathe again. Feel the soles of your feet again. I'm going to do it one more time. Okay. This feels heavy. And I'm just going to jump to your last card. Spend more time outdoors, Aries. Spirit wants you to do that. There's a lot of heart healing coming up right now for a lot of people. I was told to wear green, and this person's outside. They're saying find a lot of green right now, Aries. Go spend some time outside if you can, you know. Try to just ground yourself and make sure you're breathing. I keep seeing somebody wanting to apologize. I was seeing that at the beginning when I was shuffling for the other signs, so watch the beginning if you want. There were some messages. I'm not going to delay this for everybody else though. So Servant came up as the overall archetypal energy for the month using the Carolyn Misses archetype cards. And actually this is about the first couple of weeks, so I'm just going to read to you what the card says. Light attributes. Delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. Shadow attributes. Using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. Okay. And let's see what the book says. Alright, Aries. Buzzword, indentured servant. 4 bullet points. First one says, engages aspects of the psyche that call us to make ourselves available to others for the benefit and enhancement of their lives. Second one says, may include spiritual service to the divine or other people. And the third one says, indentured servant sees oneself bound by conditions of service, not of one's choosing, but because of an inability to buy one's freedom, or symbolically come into one's own power. And the last one says, shadow servant fails to also be of service to oneself, and loses all focus of the value of one's own life. And the tip says, if making choices that serve your highest potential is a substantial personal issue for you, then consider this archetype for your support team. Okay. That felt really heavy to me. And part of the reason why is because on your mind, we've got what's ordinarily known as the Devil card showing up here, Temptation. In the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, this is, you know, also a trump, 15. They call it Temptation here. And there was just like this bondage sort of feeling that was coming up really strong. Like somebody feeling like they were just like a slave to something, you know, fill in the blank. But I'm seeing them like really trying to like turn their back on it here. And wonder if that's the same thing that she's like holding here. I'm just gonna say she, he, she, they, whoever this person is, the servant that's got that big, looks like a coffee cup and a saucer here. And like here, it's like they gave up and were like, fuck this shit, and like throwing it. And so it's like almost like somebody's just really struggling with whatever it is that they were attached to right now. It's feeling pretty heavy, you know. So if that's you and you're going through that right now, then this was especially for you right now. Go outside, spend time outdoors, go have some fun, express that. You're not a slave. And if you feel like you need to serve something or someone, make sure you're serving yourself first. Anytime these devils show up and these, addictions, of course, this is so easy for me to talk about because that's not my addiction I'm looking at here. But I have had my own. So what I'm explaining is from the perspective of knowing that for me, at least, it made a lot of sense for me to serve myself in the way that made me feel free of whatever it was that I was feeling stuck to before. And it's okay to be a servant of yourself in that way, because truly that is service of the divine, because there's a light inside of you that you might have forgotten about, because it's really easy for that to happen here. Life is sometimes glaringly polarizing and painful. And I know some of you can attest to that. And, can leave you feeling lack. And it's often the lack of things that make us feel tempted and needy, and like we might be willing to do things in ways that sometimes aren't the best representation of our heart. And that's pretty much showing up in your physical material realm. You've got this Knight of Swords energy that showed up, boom, upside down. Pew! Ran away. It's like something eluded you somehow, or you've been waiting for something to happen here and hasn't been happening, and maybe that's why there are devils everywhere. But if this is something that you, let's say, missed opportunity, that, something that has passed, because this could be like an action of something, you don't have to be a slave to that. And, it's also possible too, sometimes these nights, anytime we got people cards, it can be a person showing up for me, the way I read. So, it's possible that this is you or someone else, maybe somebody with, air element, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. It's in your world that maybe isn't there anymore. Maybe they took off, or maybe you took off on them. Maybe this is how somebody acted. It was quick, it was swift, it was done, and now there's a lack in some kind of bondage. However that's playing out, Spirit's saying you need to take some time, you need to breathe, you need to get through it. Spending some time outdoors is going to help. And this could also just be like weird communication sometimes for me. Like, when this is upright, this Knight of Swords, this is swift communication. This is sometimes abrasive, but to the point. Makes sense. It's clarity. It's like, wow, I get it. I've had it show up like that sometimes for people where it's just like, moment of truth, got it. And this way, not so much. Or could be kind of fucky communication, to be honest with you. I've seen this be like just shitty like communication, just not good. And that's just how it looks here on my spirit board. So it's like, I'm also almost seeing it like somebody feeling like they really desperately need to talk to whoever it is that just like cast them away. Because somebody lied. There was a fucking lie. I'm hearing it was a lot of lies. This person was covered in lies. This person's covered in lies. And they act like a friend. But it's a false thing. And I hope that's not you, but if it is, it's a good time to check yourself. And do some healing. It's possible, though, too. That this is somebody that had some shit communication. And they left you feeling like you got your ass served to you. In some kind of way. It might be confusing, because maybe you're attracted to them, or stuck with them in some kind of way. You know, there might be some kind of weird tether there. And the cautionary note on this card is that someone's wearing a false mask in this relationship. Doesn't have to be romantic. I'm going to go back and read the Temptation card, Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, and then we'll do the Deception card. This card here, 15, also known as the Devil in the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, it's still a trump in this John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, and similar meanings. I'm going to tell you what the book says. Through this card, addictions and self-limiting behaviors are being addressed. This is a time when you or someone else in your life may be placing too much emphasis on the material physical world and its pleasures. Even though we're all born connected to the divine source, we have a tendency to pull away from what was once natural. When we become disconnected from spirit, the source that once nourished us, it's often replaced with a different supply or substitute. In other words, the connection is then forged with food, alcohol, nicotine, codependency to someone, or even work. Hence the term workaholic. Many of us spend our lives trying to fill the void that was created when the link to the divine was broken. The Temptation card is calling you to take a hard look at life and ask yourself, where in my life am I suffering from addictive behavior? Is there negative thinking or behavior that's causing the life force to seep out of my soul? Are the people and relationships in my life giving me energy, or are they draining it? Learn to embrace your fears and all of your doubts so that every situation in your life becomes a learning experience. Gaining the knowledge that the physical world teaches will help you transcend to a higher spiritual awareness. So, that's great. You know, maybe you could just be having an epiphany even too about your own self-deception, about something that, you know, hasn't been working for you. It doesn't have to be major. You don't have to be like, you know, addicted to something crazy that's awful for you, like smoking methamphetamines or, you know, anything overtly obvious. But it could even just be like little traps that you have had in your own mind that don't allow you to really communicate properly with your life. So this way, I mean, this guy can be a little rushed, but people know what's going on with him. He's very effective in getting his point across, or her point across, or their point across. This way, people avoid that person. That person is very destructive sometimes, and sometimes just blocked, even if they're not being destructive. And blocked is actually self-destructive. That can feel like bondage. So, it's just a good time to do some healing. Let's see what the romance angels are saying about that deception card. Alright, Aries. Deception. Someone is wearing a false self mask in this relationship. This card is a loving nudge for you to beware of deception within a relationship. This could involve something mild such as run-of-the-mill politeness where your partner is afraid of offending you by sharing true feelings. Perhaps you're the one wearing the mask because you aren't disclosing something to your partner. Deep down, you know what this card pertains to. The romance angels are trying to protect your heart. Please say this invocation either silently or aloud. Romance angels, I ask that you give me very clear guidance that I can easily notice and understand to reveal the truth about the situation to my conscious awareness. Then notice and trust the signs that follow. This card is also a reminder to you about the importance of being genuine with your partner. Although discussing your true feelings may be uncomfortable, it will improve your relationship on many levels. And if you can't do that, maybe someone left you. I'm sorry if that happened. Sometimes sucky things like that happen, you know, and sometimes there's nothing we can do about it. And it's just done, you know. Sometimes people die. I'm sorry if that's the case. Sometimes they just leave, voluntarily or not. And it can hurt. And people can feel deceived and sometimes maybe like unresolved, like they didn't get to say something they needed to say. And sometimes you never get to say it. And that's the thing, darling. The world doesn't owe you that opportunity. The word fair, you know, I've even used it in this context, like, oh, that's not fair, or you're not being fair. Well, you know what? When I looked that word up in the dictionary, it didn't really give me the justice I wanted. It was more about decent weather, you know? Nothing's really fair. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about a situation, so I'm not going to minimize what your devil might be. It might be nothing, might be something trivial. Hey, this could even just be like, you know, I haven't had sex in a long time, I'm really horny, I'm thinking about it, you know? One way or the other, there's a really strong call for some root chakra healing. Okay? Whatever it is, there's a lot of red here. And there's a lot of green here, and a call to nature. And nature is very healing, especially on this, like, you know, lower chakra level. And if there's a liar, see that person's doing it out of base reasons, it's all red, you know, and being deceptive and shady, whether it's intentional or not. It's a call to heal the root chakra. So, work on that. It's never not a good time to work on your chakras, put it that way. So, spend more time outdoors, Aries, and give yourself what you need to balance this type of energy and how your servitude is showing up. Okay? I'm going to seal this one up with a prayer from Archangel Michael. Dear Archangel Michael, thank you for motivating me to spend more time outdoors and for helping me relax and enjoy connecting with nature. Amen. Alright, Aries, that's what I got for you. I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. And sure, subscribe. If I can, pray for you. Feel free to hit me up. My email address is below. If I don't hear from you, I'll be back in a couple of weeks with your mid-monthlies. So, till then, take care. God bless.